back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing an extremely different video, and that is going to be reading scary Reddit stories in ASMR. I love ASMR. It is something that I have watched for a while to help me go to sleep. So I thought because it's Halloween time that we could read some scary stories in ASMR on my channel. And if you guys don't like ASMR, well, there'll be many other videos. Without further ado, let's take a sip of some water. And let's get to reading scary Reddit stories in ASMR. Okay, so the first one is going to be, I remember as a little kid, my mom took us to an old Civil War jail camp reenactment in Richmond. As you can imagine, it's probably pretty hard to grasp all of these concepts as a 5-year-old that basically only knows Legos and stick fighting. So we get there and all these men are sitting around the jail, and one gets up and runs. The guards effing shoot him in the back, and all of us kids freak the F out because we have no idea what is going on, and Mom rushes us off. Great idea, Mom. Thanks for that traumatizing childhood memory. So, did they literally witness a guy getting murdered? Because if so, I would need a lot of therapy after that. Okay, I don't think it's supernatural, but it was creepy. My mother died suddenly 3 years ago, 8 days before the birth of my son. There's a picture on the wall of my house of her, and he knows it's Grandma. My dad is still in that house, but we have never visited, partly because I have a mental hang-up about going back there, and partly because of the logistics. It's an overnight ferry. Dad visits us often, and we'll go back there soon. Anyway, my son has never seen the house, and I've never shown him photos of it. He has been to the village, the area, or even the country, France. I was showing him Google Maps last week, and the thing you do with your phone or tablet where if you move the device, the field of view moves with you. So I'm showing him our house, his other grandmother's house, his school, etc., and he gets it and has it play. My dad lives in rural France, so the Google car hasn't done a pass of his street to my knowledge. I decide to check, and it's just been done, so I drop the pin and open it up. The view opens with the house over the street, so I start to move it, and my voice shouts, "Grandma's house." A bit taken back, I ask, "How did you know that?" Because it was. Bit eerie, so I ask him to point at the window and say which one is the kitchen, and he puts his finger on it straight away. Which room does Daddy sleep in? Again, the finger on it straight away. Which one is Grandma's? He points to it and says, "It was that one." These are literally so creepy. I'm so happy it's the middle of the day, because if it wasn't, I would have such a tough time sleeping tonight. So we're going to take a little bit of a snack break, and we're going to be eating my favorite chocolate bar of all time, and that is Hershey's Cookies and Cream. My family moved to this standard upscale suburban home after roughing it for a couple of years to save up. We also got a deal on the home because it was a model home before it was ours. Had all the fake furniture to show off the neighborhood home. Anyway, it had this loft area with 2 stairwells that go up to it. One in front and one in the back. You could pretty much hear anything from this loft since it was so open. One day, my two best friends, Kai and a girl, are hanging out in the loft. We were in high school, and they were horny and always all over each other. Whether it was in the room or not, we were watching TV, and I get up to go to the bathroom. When I left, they were all up on each other. When I came back, they were on different ends of the couch. I just thought that they had gotten into a fight, so I asked what was up. And they said, "Your little sister is home." The dude says. My face turned sheet white, and he said, "What's wrong?" I asked them what made them think that. They said they heard her. I am sort of freaking out at this point. No one's here, I say. We check the house and I'm right. Well, it turns out that before it was a model home, a family lived there and a little girl had been playing in the loft, but had climbed on the railing and fell to her death below. Oh my god. My two best friends swear to this day that they heard what they thought was my sister laugh and run up the stairs, hitting her hands on each step, like she was running up on all fours. Oh my god, that's so creepy. I never had any encounters other than the fact that right next to where she landed was the house's central intercom. We had an intercom system in every room and you could play music through or talk to each other. Every so often at night at the same time you'd wake up to the intercom button being pressed and just the blank sound of static airways like someone was holding down the button, but no one was speaking. Oh my god, I have goosebumps. My room was on the 3rd floor and I had to walk down to the bottom to the main unit and turn it off there. I always thought I'd see her. Oh my god, that's so creepy. Okay, next one was when I was in 5th grade. I was walking to the bus and it was just breaking dawn. I had to walk about a half a mile down the back road with woods lining either side. About halfway down, I was surrounded by 8 or 9 dogs. Not wolves, but like actual different breeds of domestic dogs. They didn't make a noise, but they blocked my path in a half circle. I was terrified and ran back home, and when I looked back, they were gone. When I think back on it, I hope maybe they were protecting me from an unknown danger down the road that morning. Who knows? My god. Okay, next one. Last year I was staying in a hotel with my mom. One of the nights, as I was laying in bed, I noticed a human silhouette maybe 2 meters away from me. I figured it was just a shadow, so I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't. I turned the light on, and obviously it disappeared. But when I shut off the lights again, it came back. I tried to convince myself that it was just a shadow, but trust me when I say there was nothing in that room that could have made a shadow like that. I looked around the room several times. It also occurred to me that the shadow weren't there the previous nights, and nothing had been moved around. It just looked like a human silhouette. I never believed in ghosts, but right then and there I was terrified. I was too scared to look at it, so I turned around and eventually fell asleep. I told my mom about it the next morning, and she just shrugged it off. She said that I was just imagining things. Fair enough. That shadow wasn't there the next night or the next. A few days after we had gotten back home, my mom was doing something in the kitchen, and I was just sitting there studying. Without turning around, my mom said, "Do you remember that shadow of a person you saw at the hotel?" I have goosebumps. I said, "Yeah." My mom said, "I saw it too." My blood turned to ice. Mom didn't want to admit that she saw it because she didn't want to freak me out. I'm convinced that if a ghost exists, I saw one that night. My mom thinks it was a ghost of her best friend who had committed suicide just a few days prior. Mom had spent hours earlier that evening writing her a long letter for some kind of closure. Maybe her best friend also wanted to say goodbye. Okay, so we're gonna pop in a piece of 5 gum because why not? I guess it's not incredibly scary or anything, but it's weird. When I was about 12, our family moved into a new house, new to us, actually quite old. It was in our same village, but down a different lane. Part of it used to be a bungalow, so my room and my sister's room were on the ground floor, down a long hallway. All of the ground floor had walnut flooring, and there was a Persian rug outside the door to my room to avoid cold toesies in the morning. That's cute, toesies. Every night around 11 or so, I would hear footsteps walking at a fairly slow pace right down the hall from the end guest suite, up past our rooms and away down the hall to the living room. I was always in bed when I heard them, and so was everyone else. You know how you can tell who a family member is by the way they walk up the stairs or open a specific door. I knew it wasn't someone in my family. Plus, it was the sound of outdoor shoes clacking on the wood, and everyone in my family wore slippers inside the house. I would hear the footsteps start fairly loud on the wooden floor way down the hall, come up past my sister's room, and there would be a pause while whatever it was walked over the rug. You could hear the gap in the footsteps about 3 seconds. Then they would start again on the other side of the rug and fade out as they walked down the hallway to the living room. Then they would come back, same footsteps, break across the rug, resumed on the other side. I don't remember ever feeling so scared, but I never ever went out to see what it was. I would fall asleep to the sound of it. It would go on for a really long time. It stopped about 3 or 4 weeks after we moved in, and I never heard it again. I didn't really think about it much after it stopped, but I've never forgotten it, and as an adult, it makes me shiver to remember it. Okay, this one's pretty long, so this is going to be the last one that we read for today. This just happened today, and it's the reason I can't focus on studying or sleeping, and I'm distracting myself with Reddit right now. I am not religious. I was raised Catholic, but fell away in my teenage years and haven't looked back. I'm also a 4th-year med student going into psychiatry. Science is my life. I'm one of those people who believe that there is a scientific reason behind everything. Mediums use cold reading and distractions. Psychics use sleight of hand and get information ahead of time. There's no such thing as miracles, etc. I had a patient today who came in to talk about management of his chronic conditions. Long story short, to save on words, he ended up telling me that he had special powers and had been passed down in his family from God that allowed him to rid the world of demons. Okay, great. A psychic case, right? I've had patients tell me that the government put cameras in their walls and that they were Jesus and could tell their followers apart by the shapes in their eyes. There is nothing I'm not used to. He told me very detailed descriptions of the angels that travel with him and their history. He talked about how what he did was killing him, but he owned it to humanity to continue and to help his teenage son to develop his full powers before he was gone. Then he started talking about me. He said that he couldn't tell that I was a healer, that I couldn't stand to see others in pain, that I would go on to heal people's minds. He told me that he wanted to give me my own personal angel since there was so much evil in the world and the good needed protecting. He started praying and commanded an angel to come down and protect me. He then commanded that the angel also protect her husband across the country and guide him in his studies, also protect their future children. He told me that there was someone there with us if he could tell me about her. He said that my deceased grandmother was there and that she could see me. He said that she just kept saying, oh my goodness, over and over again. And then she wanted me to know how proud she was of me and how mature and professional I looked in my white coat. He said, She never got to see you in your coat before she died. She can't get over how great you look. That she knew I would do great things. My grandmother died 2 years ago. She had never seen me in my white coat before her death. In the moments when she was happy or surprised, she was known to repeat, oh my goodness, over and over. The patient did not know that my grandmother was dead. He didn't know anything about me. He told me that night I would see my angel in my bedroom, that the angel would pass by me and I would catch a glimpse of it, and that would be my sign that I was protected. He told me not to be scared. I was finally able to successfully transition the visit back to his medical care, but before he left, he told me again that he could see a goodness in me, that I just had to keep going. I called my husband and told him everything after work, and he was pretty freaked out as well. We kept trying to think of the ways this guy would have known things. This wasn't cold reading, and if he was guessing, he was pretty freaking good at it for no reason. Who would guess that someone not only has a husband, but that he lives across the country? None of the staff here knew my personal life. I hadn't talked about my husband to anyone. No one knows about my grandmother. There's no way he could have known. I gave him no feedback or confirmation while he was speaking other than the usual, okay, I understand, and trying to divert him back to talking about his medical care. Tonight, I was in my room listening to music when I turned around and suddenly saw something, a foot in some sort of shape, like there was this person turning and walking out of my bedroom. I live alone. I jumped out and yelped a little bit because I was freaked out and immediately called my husband, who answered the phone with, "Did you see that angel?" I admit, as he does as well, that at this point I'm probably conditioned to see something with how freaked out I was today, but still. As my husband says, well dear, I guess there's just going to be things we'll never know. Worst case scenario, we're right and we're not protected by an angel. Best case scenario, everything we think we know is wrong and now we're protected for life. Nothing is bad. I don't believe in demons or people who can talk to the dead. I don't believe in God or Jesus or angels, but I have no explanation for what happened today, and that bothers me. I left a lot out of this because it was a long visit and so much more was said, but just be aware that I am skeptical and science-minded as they come, so is my husband, and I don't know what to think right now. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this ASMR video with reading some scary stories and ASMR. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I make videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And that's all guys, I love you, and I will see you all in my next video.